Morning. It's even coffee day with the coffee shirt on. How are you? I'm filming. My phone went to a cinematic um setting. I don't know if we're gonna like this. We don't have to stay here. We're just trying things. This is an experiment. Someone messaged me this week that um earphone setting, the volume isn't right. Thank you. Yes, I love it. Oh, there's cats sniffing wet paintings. We'll see how that goes. Um, so today I just wanted to say good morning. Again, I love popping on in the morning. Oh, and Dragon's gonna come up. And this is real life stuff. It's not edited, clearly. I have a friend who's an astrologist and an architect, and he talked about I would go and sit with him and we would draw floor plans and talk about homes, and he talked about wabi sabi, about finding the perfection in the imperfection, so that if you like that concept, you're gonna really like it here. um and also, I just have to share, I have an artist group that we meet with, and one of the women said something about, we were talking about being real and authentic and just come as you are, like, this is who I am. And she's like, I want to come to your house and see the toilet ring. So I'm like, my house is ready for you. It is open. The toilet rings await your arrival. So one thing I've been working on, I always think it's interesting to see what other people are doing. I watch other people work out, their routines, their health. People share so much, and not everything is going to be for you, but sometimes you can see someone doing something, a workout routine, an eating habit, and you're like, I want to do that. I needed to see someone else. I didn't know that you could put that morning yogurt creation together. There's a woman in Italy that shares her what she makes, and sometimes it's just so helpful to get another idea from someone else. I love the community that you can find if you seek it out. And one thing I'm working on, it's a little fuzzy, and that's okay. I think you won't be able to see it perfectly, and it's an impressionistic painting. I have been working on a series of abstract landscape. I'm primarily a plein air painter, so that means I take my easel outside and paint outside as much as I can, and then sometimes I'll take smaller pieces and then use them for reference for larger paintings. And right now I'm working on a 30-day series, which I've done before. I've done with other groups. I've done on my own. There is an art group that I'm a part of that's doing it. And then I kind of do a hybrid approach. I'm doing YouTube, I'm doing plein air, and then some other pieces of it. I'm seeing how far I can take something. But I'll take the smaller reference paintings, and they're finished paintings, I sell them, and then I'll use them to create larger paintings. Sometimes if there's one I just keep bringing around the house and I look at it, that's another practice I do. I'll paint something, I'll work on it for an hour to 90 minutes, and then the next morning I'll sit and look at it for a long time before just diving in and working on it. This one I need to sit with a little bit more this morning to see if there's any finishing touches. Sometimes I just paint for an hour and leave it as is. This one I want to refine some shapes, and there's some things I want to work on bringing out in it, so I might work on that this morning. Otherwise, it's really pretty. The sun is coming up, and there's kind of this pinky color coming up, and I might work on a landscape. Otherwise, there's a bouquet of sunflowers around here that I might try to do too. That's fun to set up in the yard as a still life to work from. And I don't know, just something from working from life. I just did a 3-day workshop in my studio last week, and it was funny. I learned so much from my students. They asked such good questions. I love curious people. And we were working from a photo, and I was painting really different, softer colors or different colors. And she's like, how do you figure out those colors? And I'm like, well, when I paint outside, those are the colors I create. And she's like, wait, what paintings here have been created by photos? And I'm like, oh, none of them in my studio. So then we completely switched gears, and instead of working from a photo, she's like, can I just work from one of your paintings and try mixing colors? And that's the second or third time that we've just scrapped the whole photo idea. It's funny, I had that stuck in my mind. That would be a good way to teach color or composition, really. But maybe I'll change my ways. So I love when new people come into the studio and ask those questions. And I do have an upcoming workshop I've mentioned, and I'll keep mentioning it, on Madeline Island in northern Wisconsin. It's so much fun. It's a 3-day workshop. And it's called Begin Again. However, it's for people who have painted for a long time, short time. It doesn't really matter, because we're going to come together and try some new things, paint from memory, look at an object or a scene for a few minutes, turn around, and then paint it. It's so fun, um, for myself included, to do those exercises and just to try to get us out of that, sometimes that block that we have, or that way of thinking, oh, it should be painted like this, or it should be painted like that. So that is today's work. And here, come say hi, Blue Eyes. Come on, come on. Yes, this is Dragon. He just wants to say hello. Oh, sweet, sweet boy. What else is going on? And then I have a show that I'll be getting ready for. And so I'll make a list of paintings, lay them out in my studio, and start getting that together. And then I have an arts talk coming up. So I'd really like, what do people want to know about? I've done one before that it was just kind of my general overview, edited life, how I got to be an artist, and how it started, the middle parts, and where I think I talked a little bit about what more I want to do with it. And that is one thing I will mention today too, is that about 14 years ago, we would have to look at that number, I had worked for a company for a really long time, and I had reached a time that I felt, reached a point that I had completed my time there. And that is something that we don't talk about enough. It's always about getting the job, and doing all these things, or relationship or house. But what about the time that something ends and we know, or we feel like, I think I've completed my time? And I heard that saying, I don't know who said it, but it was really freeing for me. And I realized that, in this position, in this company, I really was, I had learned the things that I needed to, and I had grown as a person and realized, like, this is no longer a good fit for me. And energetically, it became really draining. And I had been there for a long time. Again, I had been there for 14 years, and I was just ready for something new. But it's scary when you don't know exactly what's next to make the leap. And I also did a transition career, between that job. Well, it was COVID, and so they ended up laying off 30% of the company, and I had been part-time, and so I was let go, which was, it's still always a surprise, but it was exactly like, okay, here you go. You wanted this, now sink or swim, kind of. But it was a good way to get me to the next thing. And then I did a transition career for 4 or 5 years, in real estate, and I also there learned so much, and I loved learning about negotiation and contracts and the, legalities. I was licensed in 2 states, and I helped guide people. I loved it. I, though, had a hard time setting it down. So if there was a purchase agreement that needed to be written at midnight, I was up at midnight, and then I was driving my daughter to school. I just couldn't, it was hard for me to turn it off. Like, I just wanted to work all the time. And then when I realized, I looked outside and my painter eyes, like I was in such contrast mode that I stopped seeing, like, oh, right now I'm like looking at all the colors, and I really stepped away from the artist part of me. And I was like, okay, wait, this was just to get me to that pathway. And so then for a while I had my studio and I had real estate, and that worked well until there was a time where I just knew I had to go all in on painting in my studio and teaching. And so it's scary to navigate in, but also when you have clarity about what you want to try and do, I think I've said before about really keeping that to yourself, because a lot of people won't understand it. A lot of people are scared to do it, so they won't encourage you. Even people that love you, they want you to be safe. They don't want you to change. And so, being really discerning about who you share that with, I think is important if you're looking at making a change and going at your own pace. Like some people can just make the leap. Some people need really a lot more time to transition if you're looking at a career change or shift, or even implementing something new. If it is painting, being really gentle with yourself and bringing up some real life, like if you want to go out painting twice a week, like, okay, how could I schedule this in to my day to make it work? How can I work with my family? Maybe it's letting my family know. I had a teacher early on talk about creating a schedule on Sunday and then letting her family know. And sometimes I do create a schedule, and sometimes I just know I'm painting every day for 30 days. So I'm either going to paint this morning or tonight. Tonight I have things to do with my daughter, so I will paint this morning. Um, and then you just get it done. And then I do just trust myself too, of now I know I'll just like working out as part of my day, walking as part of my day, painting as part of my day, and then there's certain business things part of my day. Get up, do my YouTube in the morning, which is really fun too, and just implementing that in part of your day. And then also, if you miss a day a week, be really soft with yourself and like, okay, that's all right. Just like maybe I'll pick up the paintbrush for 10 minutes tomorrow and work just a little bit of time. Sometimes funny too how you can kind of almost trick yourself. I was working on this painting, like, I don't know, maybe it's a one and done thing. And last night I told myself, well, just work on it for 15 minutes. All of a sudden an hour went by and I'm like, oh gosh, I really made the turn. It went to a different direction. And there's still shapes and colors that I'm like, I don't, this needs to be adjusted, but that's okay. Like, it's not going to all happen. Think about some of the paintings in the museums. People worked for years and years and years, and now we're such an instant society of like, oh, gotta be done. And that's just not how nature unfolds. It's not how art unfolds. So slowing down and paying attention and seeing what feels good for you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.